Thank you for joining us. This is Soldier Girl Kerry for the Stand Up and Stand Out show. As you know, this month of October is being celebrated as Black History Month, and we have shortlisted a number of individuals who we class as unsung heroes who need to be identified in society for the positive contributions they make. Today, we have Sophia Kapsha, who has joined us. She's a mother, a wife, and an educator, and would like to take this opportunity to recognize her for her positive contribution to society. So welcome, Sophia.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Now, we have a few questions for you today because we'd like to delve a little bit deeper into the person or the story behind the woman that we see today. So tell us a little bit about, how you managed to guide and motivate yourself, but also your children down the pathway of making an impact on especially social media, but also a positive contribution to society.
Okay. I think first of all is having open communication with your children and really knowing what their motivations are, what their ambitions are, and what will inspire them. So the girls, I have 5 girls, Nia, who is 10, Ariana, who is 8, Ziana, who's 5, and then I have identical twin girls who are 1. So Nia, Ariana, Ziana, all the girls are on social media, whether it's YouTube or TikTok. They're now on TikTok and on Instagram. And the reason behind that is a way of course, I am the one who manage all their accounts, is a way of showcasing what they can do. So all their channels are really focused on what they love. So Nia is very arty and very artistic. So her channel is about art and anything, any art form, whether it's music, dance, painting, while Ariana loves to read. So her channel is all about reading, telling stories, and things like that. And then Ziana is just Ziana being fun, talking. She's a little chatterbox right now. So her channel is about her world and things according to Ziana. And of course the twins, their journey. How we started, the girls sat down and they wanted to have their channel and they wanted to do things that they like. So we had that discussion. So as I said before, first of all, having that discussion, knowing your children, and of course, God is the center of everything we do. So we're Christians, and that really inspires us to give and make an impact, to serve. I think being a Christian is all about serving, and linked to being an educator, it's all about what impact are you making, what legacy are you making? Because let's just look at it. We are happy when we give back, when we think we are doing something for someone else. That's how we were made, to give back.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's so inspiring. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners and viewers will be motivated by that. Now, in terms of the programs that you spoke of, it's so important. You mentioned harnessing the talent of your children. And it's good that you're identifying from quite an early start or age of the children, what their key talents and interests are, and just motivating them along those lines, encouraging them, but supporting them with these various channels. That's so excellent. Now, tell us about the programs and who they actually cater to.
Okay. Yes, I didn't speak about my channel. So I have a channel as well, which is my mantra on that channel is to motivate, to teach, and to inspire. I think all the channels, that's the main basic foundation of them, really. So my channel is geared towards all learners, whatever age they are. It is I do English tutorials, but I also do lifestyle tutorials and videos and vlogs, which showcase how I juggle being a mom of 5, being a full-time teacher, and also being a student. So how and a wife, don't forget that. Yes, and how I juggle all of those different roles and responsibilities. So I vlog, I will also do maybe vlogs on parenting and how to encourage your children to read. You know, the research has proven that reading, if a child reads for 20 minutes, can you imagine, only 20 minutes daily, their levels of progress skyrocket. Just 20 minutes. And you know, you think 20 minutes, that doesn't impact anything. So I'll do vlogs on that, on how to really harness the talent and aptitudes that your children have, how to listen to them, because every child has a voice and they are very vocal, and if only we listen and then engender whatever natural talents they have. For I'll give an example. So we just started on TikTok. The girls started on TikTok, and Nia will come to me and say, and this is her, you know, these are her words: Mom, TikTok is making me more confident. And you know, I said to her, I don't know why we haven't been on TikTok before, because it's all about really doing facial expression or doing body movements to a song, your own interpretation. So think of creating your own music video, or doing your own tutorial on something that you like, or showing someone something you can do, and you have 60 minutes, or no, 60 seconds or 15 seconds to do. So it's really quick, and it's really, because it's so quick, you have to make it concise. You have to get down to the nitty gritty, so to speak. So it is helping in that way. And of course, yes, you have this disadvantages of social media, but my advice to parents who want their children to use it as a tool, we have the technology, we should use it. You know, the idea that resourcefulness is the ultimate resource. So use what you have and maximize it to help your children in what ways you can during the lockdown.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Stand Up and Stand Out show. I'm your host, Soja Girl Kerry, and I'm continuing with my guest who has joined me today. Her name is Sophia Kapsha, and she has been sharing her story, very inspiring, as a mother, a wife, but also an educator and a student, don't forget. So we're just continuing with, first of all, how do you stay motivated, Sophia, as an educator, a mother, but also as a wife?
That is a very good question. I think I mentioned my faith in God and what I think my purpose is. I think my number one motivation is my belief in God and the fact that I believe that I'm doing what God has made me to do. And the whole idea of that, I'll expound on that. I think if you think you're created fearfully and wonderfully in God's image, and He designated you for a particular purpose. So even before you were born, He knew you, and He knew your name, and He knew what you were going to do, right? So I'm starting from that point. So that is my belief. And as a result, that motivates me in terms of that, knowing that I'm doing what I need to do, what God wants me to do. I think the second thing that motivates me, I think it's how I'm wired. I'm internally motivated, and I have always been like that from birth. I think I was born like that. I was just wired like that. I'm just internally, I'm always competing, but not with anyone. I don't compete with anyone. I compete with myself. So I'm a planner, I'm a thinker, and I'm a doer. So I plan what I want to do. I map out my life. I remember saying this to when I met my husband I already knew what I wanted. And it was quite interesting when we were courting or dating and going through that process. And I was very open with him about what I see for my future and my plans. And he was on board. Yeah, we're married now, so of course he was on board. But, you know, always planning and knowing what, and I think that is a good thing to do. Maybe have a journal and write the things that you want to achieve. Write them down, and by all means put a time to it, because just writing them down is not enough. You need to have a template, so to speak, a map. Anyone, if you see someone going to a designated place, they have a map, they have a template, they know where they need to go in order to get there. And that's what I'm talking about. If you don't know where the end point is, what is the point of it? If you don't know what you want, if you don't have a plan. So, you know, as I said before, think about it, plan it, put a date there. When do you want to achieve it by? Even if you think it is unrealistic, put a date down. You have planted the seed, and that is so important, to plant that seed. And then the next step is execute. You have to do it. You need to just get up and do it. That, I like what Nike says, their slogan, just do it. Just do it. Stop the procrastination. And everyone procrastinates. I do it. Everyone does. But the minute you make that first step, you know, realizing that success, what is the definition of success? Success is getting up every day and making steps to achieve your goal. That's what success is. Every day, making that incremental gain every day. So those are the things that really inspire me and motivate me. I have my plan, I have my map, and as a result, I'm always trying to do better. And I think I've said this to my girls, I want them to do better. Every generation should try to be better than the last. You know, every generation. If your mother was a teacher, then you need to surpass that. Do something more. Add on to that. Don't go backwards, go forwards. So yeah.
Excellent. I like all of that. I was like, yeah, just do it. Definitely. And Sophia, what words of encouragement? I know you've given quite a lot of tips just now in answering your question about the motivation and the inspiration that you have and where it comes from. But what words of encouragement would you actually give to someone who, you know, may be considering a similar path?
The first thing I would say is, what will come to you will come to you in the right time. I think we sometimes as human beings like to look at other people and where they are, and it can be very, you know, negative for us and our mindsets. If we, as I said before, map out our path where we want to be, stay focused on what we want to do, and have that faith that when it is going to happen, it will happen. And I think because, as I said, you know, for me, Christianity is a way of life. It is not just saying I'm a Christian. It's the way I think. It's the way I behave. It is a way of life. And as a result, a lot of my mindsets, a lot of things that I think is really linked to what the Bible says. If the Bible says it, I absolutely believe it. And so, you know, it talks about God already. He is ever for us, and he already knows. He's sovereign, so he knows what's going to happen, ultimately what's going to happen. And if you believe that, if you know that God is planning it out for you, and it doesn't mean that everything is going to be 100% all the time, but in the pain, in the struggle, know that, have the faith that God is going to work it out for you. I remember, and I'm going to share a story. I remember this was like one of the greatest disappointments in my life. I've never been so disappointed. I remember so I got a promotion, a real great promotion. I was over the moon. It was my dream job, and I went for the interview. I aced the interview. They were so impressed, and I got the job. And it so happened, but while I was celebrating, the devil was also planning. And so I got the job and everything. It went to the stage. In teaching, when you go for an interview and you get the job, it's not cemented as yet until they get references and they do all the checks. So yes, you have the job. Yes, they're happy with everything on the interview day. And for a teaching position, it was a leadership position as well. So it wasn't just going in and teaching. So when you go for a teaching job in the UK, you first go and they have to see you teach a lesson. So you have to submit lesson plans. You go into a class and you have to control that class and teach a lesson. Then the second stage is you're interviewed by a panel of children. So they choose some children and you're interviewed. And then if you get through that stage and the children like you, then you go to the third stage where you're interviewed by a panel of, but before that, you have to do what they call an entry exercise, a data selection task. It could be a data selection task. It could be, they want you to do a proposal on what you need to address. So I did all of those things and was successful. It was really good, a really good day. And then when I was supposed to now sign the contract, get the contract, I realized that I wasn't getting the contract. So I called them up and they said, oh, we're just checking your references. But the school that I was at, the head teacher, he didn't want me to go. And even though they cannot give you a bad reference, they can give you a reference that's questionable. So if a head teacher puts on your reference that you need support, you're going for a leadership position, but you need support, that's questionable. Who would want a leader who requires support? So they then came back and said that the references, they had doubts about the references weren't good. And at that point, I did not even know that it was the head teacher's reference. So I went back to him, not knowing that he's the one who gave me a reference. And then, so in the morning, I got the news and I was devastated. And can you imagine? I should have just turned home and turn back and go home. But, I said, I have a responsibility. I'm going into work. And I went into work and I went through the day, but I was just it was the worst disappointment. I've never had such a bad disappointment. When you're pumped up, you're so happy. And I came home and when I'm down, I just go to bed. That's me. Anyone can know when things are not 100%. I go to bed. I just go. And I remember saying to God, how could you do this? You gave me something. You knew I prayed about it. You knew I wanted. And this is not you, God. You don't tempt like that. You don't give me something and then take it in one fell sweep. You just snatch it. And I could not understand. I could not understand it. And I went through. And then when I realized that it was the head teacher's reference that was questionable, I then immediately gave in my resignation. And he was surprised. He was like, do you have a job? I'm like, no, but I'm giving my resignation. So I gave him my resignation without a job. And God worked it out in such a powerful way that I got a better job, when I was in the role. No, before I went to the role of the second job, there was a big scandal in the newspaper, a big scandal. The school that I was going to go to, in a leadership position, the students, Ofsted came to the school and the students were repulsive to Ofsted. It was a big scandal in the paper. And I remember someone saying, what if at the time when you were questioning God and feeling so down, what if you knew what he was saving you from? And I relate this story to you. as a means to encourage and inspire. Sometimes you go through the darkest, deepest situation and you think, I cannot survive this one. No, this one is too big, because everyone is looking at you and laughing at you and saying, oh, you thought you got a promotion, ha ha ha, look at you now, you'll have to come back to this place. You thought you were bigger than us. But God was working behind the scenes. He was saying, Sophia, no, this one is not for you. If I allow you to go, you are going to come out of teaching maybe. You're not going to survive this one. And he stopped me from going. So sometimes, the situations that you're thinking that they're the worst situations that you can encounter, they're a blessing. So, before I talked about maximizing your resource, maximize what you have. Try to have an attitude of gratitude, a positive attitude in whatever is happening. And of course, it will work out. And that's what I leave you with.
Thank you so much. I was literally making a note there. I was like, yes, this is the greatest tip thus far. You've heard it here from Sophia Capshaw. Attitude of gratitude. That's what you're meant to have. And it's so, so very inspiring. Thank you for sharing your story, your testimony even, because I'm sure that there are a lot of individuals who are viewing, who are listening to this program, and who are probably either in a similar situation or in a very challenging situation. And this will serve to encourage, but also point them to the right source of strength, and that's God. So thank you so much, Sophia, for sharing that with us. All the best to you and your family. Continue to do the good work that you're doing. Continue to be the proud and supportive parent that you are, and wife. Let's not forget that. And we wish you all the best in your endeavors for sure.
Thank you.
All right then. Thanks so much.
And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.